Testing, testing, testing.
We are good to go.
Okay, so my name's Alfie Hart and we are in South Wales on the Carmarthenshire Bay. And I grew up here windsurfing, surfing since I was 10, and my local beach is Pendine, and so I have a natural love of Pendine sands. Other good beaches that I've ended up experiencing over the last 30 years are Newgale out in West Pembrokeshire and Broadhaven North, which is also near Newgale. And one of my favourite spots is actually in mid Wales. It's a reef where we've only really found it the last 10 years, but it's a pretty epic wave for windsurfing. My parents bought me a handycam and I was just playing with it, and I had an editing box so I could, make little films. In mid-20s, thinking what am I going to do, I sort of had an idea to set up a film business, and so I got cameras, got all the gear, and started traveling around filming surfers, windsurfers, kite surfers. And by doing that, after a year or so, I'd met people who would commission me to go on the Windsurf World Tour and start filming the world's best windsurfers. So it's a dream job for me, having grown up. It took me probably about 2 years to get the courage or confidence to sell myself as a filmmaker, because it doesn't feel quite right if you're not doing something slightly more than an amateur filmmaker. So I've kind of described myself, once I got into the industry, as the video journalist of windsurfing, where I'd turn up and I could report on an event that day and make a quick edit at the end of the day, amongst other things, but that was my definite skill. By 2010, I was making 100 films a year, and then it kind of stopped. There was a change of situation, the commission changed, and I found myself being a bit more of a freelancer, and the British Windsurf Tour was something I'd been going to regularly, but I hadn't been joining in, I've just been filming. And so the guys there were like, hey, I'll bring your gear, you should join in, do some competition. I'd found that period of watching the world's best had really improved my personal level, because I'd obviously I've been watching frame by frame the best guys in the world, and it's the ultimate educational tool of sort of learning. And I was finding my own sailing was getting much better, particularly wave riding. I'm not really a trickster, but I really enjoy the wave riding, and I was really driven to get good at wave riding and try and do aerials in all conditions. So having success at a windsurf event and winning the AMS in 2012 was another pinch me moment in some ways, because there I was as a kid dreaming of being a windsurf competitor, and I'd never really thought it would actually happen. And it led up into the beginning of windsurfing.tv. Ben Profit was coming to the end of his professional windsurf career. We'd been working together for 10 years at that point. We were on a trip in Scotland, in Tiree, and he said, right, this winter I'm going to build the website. And I said, cool, and I'll be there if you need me to come and help. And then 2016, we started to slowly build Windsurfing TV and into what has become one of the biggest YouTube channels of windsurfing. So I actually think that being into windsurfing and water sports generally is a great way of being an interesting content producer.